What really separates wealthy entrepreneurs from struggling entrepreneurs? That's a billion-dollar question. A lot of people that are really successful entrepreneurs and they own businesses and they understand all that must happen and all you go through as an entrepreneur. And then there's those that struggle. What's the difference between them? You know, I've studied psychology and human behavior, success psychology, action psychology, even entrepreneur psychology for years and years and years. And the reason why I wanted to learn it, I wanted to see the different behavioral mindsets, different actions, different emotions. And I came to a conclusion one day that there is something that determines whether somebody's going to be a wealthy entrepreneur or somebody that's going to remain and continue a struggling entrepreneur. It was something that nobody really teaches. And it's something that I started looking at and started writing about. And I want to share this with you because it is one of the most important things that you must understand today. It's called the decision space. The decision space. What actually separates wealthy entrepreneurs from struggling entrepreneurs, it may not be the decisions themselves. Did you get that? Because you got to understand, it may be what occupies their decision space. What is a decision space? Here is the unction. Here is the unction that you want to go, I got to make a decision. It is the prompting. It is the knowing. It is the movement. I got to make this decision. The second part of it is the decision space. This decision space determines what happens with the decision. So first you have the unction to make a decision. Then you have the decision space, which carries things in it to help make the decision. Then from the decision space comes the decision. And this is why that the urge to decide leads to the decision space, which leads to the decision. We're going to go over this. You need to understand it. Nobody else teaches this. And I want you to understand that this is how that I make decisions, because I look at it from I got the urge to make a decision. Okay, let's look at the decision space, and then let's make the decision. Imagine this. A struggling entrepreneur, and there's a lot of them out there. That's why that I do these videos, because I want to help, because I struggled for a while myself until it took off. But a struggling entrepreneur, a decision space contains, now this is somebody that's struggling, somebody that has not hit it big yet, is everything seems to be going wrong. They're grinding, they're working really hard, but it's not happening yet. Well, their decision space, which is the space, the stuff that determines which decision you're going to make, contains, well, what if I fail? Because decision space are the questions, are the thoughts, are the fears, or the power. It is what's in that space that helps determine and create and craft the decision. And when you have struggling entrepreneur in their decision space, they know they got to make a decision, so they take a look at, and it could be done in microseconds, it could be done in a week's time, but the decision space contains, what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I make the wrong decision? Will I be embarrassed? I'm probably not ready to make that decision. Maybe next month. Or can I really do this? Struggling entrepreneurs in their decision space operate from fear, from doubt, from insecurity, from a lack of courage often, and they question everything. If you are making decisions in your decision space based on fear, based on people judging you, based on second guessing yourself, maybe next month, can I really do this? Am I really that talented? Who am I to think I can succeed? All of that is subconscious. The largest portion of what you decide in your decision space, the space between the unction to make a decision, the urge to make a decision, and making the decision, most of it's in the subconscious. Now, once that you have released that, and once you've released all those, I'm probably not ready, maybe I should wait, this doesn't feel right, I need more information, all that is just hesitation based on insecurity, based on doubt, based on negative thinking, probably based on other people's words, and your subconscious in the decision space are rerunning all that. And that decision space is becoming quite negative. Now the decision, once you've asked that and once you've started thinking that and everything else, now the decision is predetermined. Because you have literally thought yourself, feared yourself, questioned yourself, judged yourself, maybe'd yourself out of making the right decision, out of fear. Now the decision is predetermined. That is a struggling entrepreneur. And again, the decisions that they look at, they ask in the decision space, what if I fail? What if people judge me? What if I get embarrassed? I'm probably not ready. Maybe next month. Can I really do this? Now the decision is predetermined. But let's take a look at the wealthy entrepreneur. The wealthy entrepreneur doesn't do that. Decision space of a wealthy entrepreneur contains, and again, it's mostly subconscious, does this connect with my long-term vision? What's the upside of this if it works? What's the upside? Because I want to know what's possible to gain and increase out of this. What will I learn if this doesn't work? Because if it doesn't work, I make the wrong decision, that's fine. But what will I learn because of it? What do I become by making this decision? How much better of a leader? How much better of an entrepreneur? How much better of a business owner am I going to be if I make this decision? And probably the most important question is, what's the cost of staying the same? Because this is how that wealthy entrepreneurs think. They look at the impact on their business. Get this. They look at the impact on their business in their decision space, not the impact of their fear, as struggling entrepreneurs do. Did you get that? Struggling entrepreneurs look at the impact on their fear and base a decision based on that, where wealthy entrepreneurs, they look at the impact on their business and then decide accordingly. This is why your future isn't determined by your decisions alone. I know that, you know that. You got actions, you got thinking, you got support, you got making all the right moves. All those things determine, and don't get me wrong, been there, I've made wrong decisions before. But when you make a wrong decision, make it based on what it is about, it'll help the business, or what can I learn, or what can I become from this, not necessarily from a fear standpoint. Again, your future isn't determined by your decisions alone. They're not. It's just not determined by your decisions alone. It's determined by what happens inside your decision space before you ever decide. Now you know. This is something that nobody else teaches, but you can have an urge to decide. The decision space kicks in order to facilitate the decision, and then you make the decision. And the decision space actually is what determines much whether you're going to be a struggling entrepreneur or a wealthy entrepreneur. A struggling entrepreneur makes decisions based on the impact of their fear, and a wealthy entrepreneur makes decisions based on the impact of their business. It's that simple, guys. And this is why we're doing something special here. We're building something out here, and it's going to take quite a while to get it going, because YouTube, to be perfectly blunt, is not the easiest thing to get people to watch sometimes, especially if you're doing things that's a niche like this. But I can promise you this, if you subscribe to this and you watch this and you take notes, get a journal, a fire journal, whatever you want, and take notes, it'll help you phenomenally. You won't even be the same person in 90 days. Watch the videos, learn them, take notes, and then apply them. Spread the fire.